After the collapse of the European Union and NATO alliance, the entire world faces a powerful North Korea led by Kim Jong-un, who is allied with the Russian government to take over the world. In response to Russia and North Korea's attempts to seize different countries, the US deploys its entire military across the globe, leaving itself vulnerable to attacks, including cyber attacks. The movie begins in Spokane, Washington, at a high school football game, where Matt Eckert is shown as a player for the Wolverines, playing against a visiting team. As the game begins, Matt's girlfriend, Erica, appears as a cheerleader. Matt's father, Tom Eckert, a police sergeant, is also present to watch the game. Soon, Matt's older brother, Jed Eckert, who has recently returned home from the US Marines, joins them. After the game, Jed goes to a nearby bar to have a beer, where he meets his childhood friend, Tony Walsh, who has secretly loved him since school. As they chat, Matt and Erica enter the bar, greeting each other. Suddenly, the power goes out, forcing everyone to return home. At home, Tom leaves his sons alone to work the night shift. Before going to sleep, a conversation between the brothers reveals tension and unresolved issues. The next morning, Jed and Matt are awakened by chaos outside. Stepping out, they are shocked to see North Korea launching a massive attack with tanks, aircraft, and paratroopers. Jed quickly takes a vehicle to search for their father, navigating through fires and obstacles. He eventually finds Tom, who instructs them to go to the family treehouse in the woods while he stays to help others. North Korean forces swiftly take over the city, with orders to shoot anyone attempting to flee. The army is commanded by a leader named Cho. Meanwhile, Jed and Matt head to the cabin but decide to rescue Erica first. Reaching her house, they find her family has already been captured. As they escape, Matt's friends, Robert and Daryl, join them by jumping into the back of their truck. Pursued by North Korean vehicles, they manage to reach the wooden cabin after narrowly escaping several collisions. At the cabin, they meet Robert, Daryl, and siblings Greg and Julie, who arrived in another car. That night, Matt's friends Tony and Danny also join them, increasing their group to 9 members. Jed immediately organizes them, assigning tasks to stockpile food, electricity, and weapons. During the night, a careless argument leads to Pete firing a gun accidentally, prompting Jed to confront him and seize the weapon. The next day, they discover that Pete has fled with their food supplies, worsening their predicament. Jed and Matt venture into the city to survey the situation, discovering that the North Korean army has established checkpoints and arrests anyone defying their rule. When they return, they find that Pete has betrayed them by leading the North Korean forces to their hideout. Accompanied by the town's mayor and Jed's father, the Koreans demand their surrender via a megaphone. Tom, refusing to cooperate, tells his sons to fight bravely before Cho executes him, leaving the group devastated. Jed delivers an emotional speech, inspiring the group to continue fighting the occupying forces. As captain, he trains them rigorously. Some members are tasked with gathering food and intelligence from the city. Satisfied with their training, Jed assigns them a mission to steal weapons and ammunition from the Korean soldiers. Using Tony as bait, they lure soldiers into a trap, ambushing them and acquiring weapons, bulletproof vests, and explosives. The group conducts more attacks, using stolen weapons to inflict significant damage on the Korean forces. They spray the name Wolverines on city walls, claiming responsibility for the attacks, reigniting hope among American citizens. One day, before detonating explosives, they spot Pete nearby. Following a successful bombing of the Korean army, Matt and his group retreat to their new hideout, a concealed cave. However, Matt can't stop thinking about Erica. He sneaks back to the city without informing anyone and spots the prison from a distance, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. To his shock, he sees Erica being transported in a prison van. Upon returning, Matt is confronted by an angry Jed, who is furious at Matt for risking everyone's safety. Matt defends himself, stating that Erica's life is more important to him than anything else. The argument escalates until Matt smashes his phone to the ground, revealing that it contains all the information about an upcoming event where Commander Cho is scheduled to appear. Jed quickly devises a plan to kidnap Commander Cho, involving a 2-stage bombing to create chaos and eliminate the commander and his allies. The next day, during the rally, Matt plants a bomb under a car. However, Daryl spots his father, Commander Cho, on stage, complicating the mission. Despite his hesitation, Daryl signals for the bomb to detonate in 90 seconds. Meanwhile, Matt notices Erica in a bus carrying prisoners and prematurely triggers the explosion, chasing after Erica on his own. This disrupts the original plan, causing chaos. Jed notices Commander Cho holding a defused bomb and sends his men to capture him. Meanwhile, Matt fights through a group of soldiers and finally reaches Erica. They share an emotional reunion, but Erica is chained. Greg arrives to help but is killed by Korean soldiers. Matt frees Erica and escapes with her. The rest of the team abandons their weapons and flees. On the way, Matt and Erica change their clothes at a store to avoid suspicion and successfully evade the Korean army. When they return to their base, Tony is overjoyed to see Matt and Erica alive, but Jed blames Matt for Greg's death, holding him responsible for risking everyone's lives. That night, Erica reveals that Russia is collaborating with North Korea to attack America. The next day, the store owner who helped Erica escape is captured by North Korean officials and sentenced to death for aiding the Wolverines. Before the execution can occur, the Wolverines launch a surprise attack, saving her and earning the admiration of the local public. People chant Wolverines in support, signaling that the public now backs the group. This victory alarms the North Korean military as the Wolverines' actions inspire more rebels. Commander Cho receives orders to deal with the situation immediately. Meanwhile, Matt, feeling guilty over Greg's death, distances himself from the group for a few days. Jed finds him, and they have an emotional reconciliation. Matt returns to the base that evening. That night, while Tony and Jed are by the lake, they hear an attack on their hideout. They rush back to evacuate everyone, realizing they cannot take on the entire Korean army. During the attack, Danny and Julie are killed, but the remaining 6 members escape into the dense forest. There, they encounter Marine Major Andrew Tanner and his team. After confirming their allegiance, Tanner explains the state of the country and reveals their mission: to steal a suitcase containing an EMP radio phone from the North Koreans, which would disrupt their communication and give the US military an advantage. The device is always with Commander Cho, so they plan to attack a local police station. During the mission, the group discovers a tracking device planted on one of their members, leading to a firefight. A Marine is killed, but the team successfully steals the box. While escaping, Jed confronts Commander Cho and shoots him with a gun that belonged to his father, which he retrieved earlier from a police station locker. The group retreats to a safe house to plan their next move. Jed tells Matt he's proud of him, and a romantic moment unfolds between Jed and Tony. However, the Russian army ambushes them, killing Jed. Matt and the others narrowly escape and head toward a UH-1 helicopter. Along the way, they discover that Robert has a tracker implanted in him by the Korean army. Devastated, the group is forced to leave Robert behind. At the helicopter's location, Major Tanner tries to convince Matt to join him, but Matt refuses, choosing to stay and fight. The film ends with Matt taking up the mantle as the leader of the Wolverines, rallying new rebels to prepare for the ongoing battle against the Korean and Russian armies.